What's up, everybody? Wanted to show off a bunch of 3D prints that I have been working on and a couple little pickups from Five Below, but it's mainly a 3D print video, so I'm just going to knock it out and show you some quick pickups. That figure right there, I forgot his name. He's from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. My wife picked that up for me at Target. And at Five Below, I've seen several people picking up the mini barbecue grill set. And I jumped on that and went to my local Five Below and found two of them. So I picked up two. There was still more on the shelf. But I've been seeing tons of photography using this. I even seen some customs where someone has custom painted theirs and gave it some rust effects, and it looked real great. So if you got a Five Below in your area, this is definitely something to pick up. We'll grab a figure right here just to show you right fast of how it scales. And then while I was at Five Below, I picked up this 5 points of articulation. It might even be just 3. I don't know if his legs move. I know his shoulders do and his head, neck do. But this is about a 4-inch figure, maybe 5-inch. No, yeah, it's probably 5-inch. But I plan on making a statue of this. Well, hopefully. I've already 3D printed a base, which I'll show on another video, and I'm going to paint him solid gold. I'm not sure quite what I'm going to do the base of it, but I'll be happy to show y'all how that turns out in a video. But yeah, I just solely bought this for statue hobby making purposes, hopefully. So onto the 3D prints. On a previous video, I showed you where I printed one of these right here. This is called, I think, the Han panel. I forgot one of the sellers off Etsy who I got the file from. But the first one, if you recall, I printed this part, and this part was very fragile and flimsy. And I printed it with the back down. On this one, I printed it upwards and had supports right here to help with this. The supports down here are a little rough looking. Got some spots right there. It's probably hard to tell with this red, and some spots along the panel a little bit, but I can sand that out. But the panels right here at the base are a little bit more solid. But I was real happy to get a better version of this printed up because it's got some absolute great detail on it. And of course, you can't really tell with this red filament, but looking forward to customizing that. We also picked up this right here. This is a desk, and it's called the Client's Desk from The Mandalorian. This is the desk that the client sits behind. It's got the base down here where the feet rest. There's the top. Of course, I printed it face down on a raft. So I got to sand that, kind of work on it some. But when you're printing it face down, make sure you got enough filament, because as you can see, I ran out of filament on here, which I'm just going to 3D print a square with those dimensions right there and some sort of leg fixture and just make this another table, because this was a ton of filament used up until this point. And you can see it was almost there. It just didn't quite make it. But I can use this to make a desk out of my own design. Just, you know, fill in this with a panel and put some legs on there, and you're good to go. Along with the desk came this chair set up, and it came in several different parts. And I am going to show you this right here is the base of the chair, and it's kind of got like a slant to it. And there's the bottom where it kind of looks a little rough where the raft sets. This is the actual base of the chair itself, and it's got this nice design on the back. So the chair would rest like that. And then you got this cushion. This part didn't come out too well. This was the first one I attempted because I printed it, I believe it was on this side. Can't recall, but it didn't turn out as well as I wanted. I have a better one I'll show you here shortly, but the cushion fits there and there. And once you have that, here is the glued version right here. And you can see some of the glue right there where it just kind of dried white. Put a little too much on the edge, but this is all going to be painted up. But to give you an idea, let's grab Darth Maul right there. And he's on chill mode, just chilling away. So it's a little too low to the ground. I wish it was a little bit taller. I might kind of mess with it and make this part a little bit taller, meaning this part, the height, because it sets a little too low for me. That I would much rather prefer it to be a little taller. So yeah, I am going to do that. But I wanted to show you some fails along with it when I was printing it. And you will see right here is where I had it sitting on the raft, and I had to have a little bit of supports right there. Well, when you're printing, you don't really know how well something's going to turn out. So on this one, yeah, let me grab the good one. This is what you wanted. This is what came out. This part was sitting on the raft like so. And it printed like that, which looks great. You can see some nice detail right there, but you're gonna see that and that just looks terrible. So that's why I printed it like that. So now the bottom is flawless because of the way it printed, whereas this part is a little rough, but you're not gonna see this part. So you can see where I printed this one. Once I realized that, the back came out perfect, but when it was printing, you can see down here, see how that stringing is? That's because there was no supports for this to print on top of, hence it was rough looking. So this is without supports, and this is with supports. That way the filament has something to set on as it's printing instead of just air. And if it's just air, you get the stringy material, which is like that. So that was my mistake on that. But just because a print doesn't work out right offhand, go into your slicer and just readjust the alignment of how you want it. And it's a lot of trial and error. A lot of trial and error. Speaking of trial and errors, I'm going to show you the finished product first. But I got this file from, I believe it's Darth Tucker 3D. I followed him on Instagram, and just recently I saw a post where he had to move his Etsy shop to another site. I don't recall the name of it off the top of my head. I just seen the post a couple of days ago. But this is a mailbox right here. And we'll grab Darth Maul again to give you some size comparison. There is a 6-inch Star Wars figure next to the mailbox. All right, so it came in two pieces. You got the base down here with just the legs. You'll see the separation right here, and then this part right here. So when I was printing it, I printed the base without supports, upside down. Same thing. There was nothing. There was no support, so nothing for this layer to push up against. So it just, as it laid down the filament, it did this base, but when it transitioned to this, it was just hanging on air. So that didn't work. So I printed this one. However, I got the supports too close to the model. So it was a lot of trial and error, but I want to show people there are errors, because a lot of people get into 3D printing and think they're going to have a perfect print every single time they print, and you're absolutely not going to have that. It was frustrating at first because I thought I was messing up on everything, but you're going to have failures. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. You're fighting against mechanical stuff and software. And if you don't know anything about either like I did, you're going to have problems. So this is me just kind of getting it a little bit dialed in. And you can see this one particularly looks a lot better compared to this one and to this one. It's just trial and error. YouTube is your best friend when it comes to that. Following other 3D printer makers is a big help. See, I wanted to show y'all what it looked like on the printer. Now, this is something that's very interesting. As you know, I've told y'all in past videos, I've got a FlashForge Adventure 4 and a FlashForge Adventure 3. The 3 being the first printer I ever purchased, and the 4 being the most recent and second printer I've ever printed. The FlashForge 4 I've had a lot of problems with compared to the 3. Now, I took the machine and sliced it identical to the 3 and to the 4. I wanted to print the same object. Now, here's this one with the supports. You can see I had to have supports for the handle. It didn't turn out too well. But the supports for this part, and you'll see how there's a lip right there. You had to have supports right there for this part to rest on. And then you have to have supports right here for the curvature a little bit for it to print on. And this has the same settings as this one. Now, what I want you to pay close attention to is, yes, this part was messed up too, but look at the difference in the supports. Okay, these look a little bit cleaner and they'll come right off compared to this one. But what really stood out was this part right here. See those supports? How weak looking they are as compared to those supports. And to get them off, you just peel the raft off like so. Oh, you see how that support came off right with it? And those are the supports. A lot of people always ask me about the supports. So it's just a thin layer. I don't really know how to explain it. You got your supports right here where the handle is. Now, of course, you can use fingernail files and stuff of that nature to smooth these out. This right here, just peel it off. Peel it off. And that is just a quick removal of some supports. So, let's see. We'll do this one where we got it up. Now, that is another thing. You see how you have it, supports in here? I forgot to mention that. This has got to have something to print, because if you're printing and you get up to this part and it's running a line through here, there's nothing for it to hold on to. So you have supports on the inside that go all the way up. And I'm not going to probably be able to get all of these out, but you use some needle nose pliers and you just pull it out. Of course, I need some of those. I just wanted to show you right quick what it looks like. And this is just supports that you're pulling out of the object, because you can see up there, that's where the support's rested against. But you see this part way down there? That's this. So if you don't have those supports, there's nothing for that to rest on when you're printing. So we're going back to this one, and you can see it worked okay. As you can tell, supports are coming off. But there is a difference between the machines, and I'm noticing it. And it is frustrating at times, because you're like, man, I just got this dialed in and it's not doing right. And now we're facing this problem and this problem. But that's a quick removal of supports. Now you see how you got rough edges right there? You just got to clean those up with the files, sandpaper, and even like right there, you see that? Now, if someone were selling prints, this is not good compared to this one like that. That looks a little better. Now, I can fix that, sand it down, a couple layers of paint and primer, but that's just showing you the differences between one machine and the next. But it's real fun 3D printing, especially if you're in the hobby of action figures, because it kind of gives you something to print and a reason to print. And but don't get frustrated when you come up on fails and stuff of that nature, because you will get this, but at the end of the day, you will also get that. So still, that isn't as good as some of the ones I watch, but it's good enough for me for right now. All right, so that's it. Just a quick video of some props for your action figures. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. And thanks for watching. All right, I'm out of here. Later. Thanks again.